Okay, so you just got a job offer. Congratulations. The endless interviews are finally over, the stressful waiting is done, and it honestly feels like it's time to pop the champagne. But here is the absolute truth we need to face. In this volatile 2026 job market, receiving that offer is really just the beginning of the most critical phase of your entire job search. Because the reality is, not all offers are actually good offers.
Getting an offer is kind of like reaching a false summit on a mountain. You think you've made it to the very top, that there's actually a pretty treacherous path still ahead of you. Accepting the wrong offer is essentially walking into a minefield. Making a bad choice here can literally cost you years of frustration and severely stunt your lifetime income. So in this explainer, we're going to walk through the exact step-by-step checklist you need to evaluate a job offer in 2026. We'll uncover the green flags that signal an amazing opportunity and the glaring red flags that should make you run for the hills. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to break down the 4 most critical areas you need to evaluate. First step, calculating true compensation. Second, role clarity and growth. Third, culture and work-life balance. And finally, we will wrap up with the final decision checklist. Let's dive right in. All right, starting with section 1, calculating true compensation. And this is all about looking way beyond just the base salary. It is so easy to just fixate on that one big number, the base salary. But your total package value is actually a pie made up of a bunch of crucial pieces. You've got your base salary, sure, but in 2026, things like remote work stipends or AI upskilling budgets are just as critical as your standard 401k match. Then you have to add in bonuses, signing bonuses, and equity right alongside your health insurance and pay time off. You absolutely always need to calculate the full package value before making a decision. With inflation and constantly shifting markets, a high base salary simply might not cover up for terrible benefits, or vice versa. Knowing what a healthy, transparent offer looks like versus a deceptive one is your very first major test here. A massive green flag is when the salary comes in at or above the current market rate for your specific role, your experience level, and your location. And along with that, they should be providing a crystal clear breakdown of those bonuses, equity, and benefits we just talked about. On the flip side, you have to watch out for the red flags. If the salary on the actual paper is noticeably lower than what you discussed verbally in the interview, that is a huge warning sign. Similarly, if they give you super vague answers about bonuses, or try to lure you in with promises of future equity that mysteriously aren't in writing, proceed with extreme caution. And hey, you don't have to just guess if these numbers are fair. You need to put on your detective hat. Use verification tools to double-check their math. Platforms like Levels.fyi, Glassdoor, and Salary.com are going to be your best friends here. Just plug in the job title, your years of experience, and the location to verify that the base salary and the broader package actually align with the reality of today's job market. Moving right along to section 2, role clarity and growth. This is all about defining your future trajectory. Look, there is a world of difference between a role designed for your success and a role that is just going to burn you out. A major green flag is a clear job description that actually matches what you discussed during the interviews. And honestly, if a job description today doesn't account for how AI tools are going to change your daily workflow, that is already a bit of a red flag. They should be offering you defined success metrics, real opportunities for training, and ideally, a performance review already scheduled for your first 6 months. The red flags? Vague responsibilities. Or my personal favorite, being told you'll need to wear many hats in a fast-paced environment, which usually just means chaos. If they aren't talking about your growth, your career momentum is going to completely stall out. You also really need to evaluate the company and the team dynamics based on how they acted before the offer even arrived. Trust how they behaved during the interview process. Were they respectful of your time? Were they transparent? Did they answer your questions honestly? Those are all fantastic green flags. But if you caught them bad-mouthing former employees, yikes, run. And if they suddenly slap you with an exploding offer, demanding an answer from you within 24 hours, that high-pressure tactic almost always masks some deep internal dysfunction. That brings us to section 3, culture and work-life balance. I like to call this the boundary check. At the end of the day, a job should fit into your life. It shouldn't consume it completely. Look for green flags like realistic working hours and clearly stated hybrid or remote options. You really want to see that flexibility explicitly written into your agreement. On the other hand, beware of hybrid washing. That's where they promise you ultimate flexibility during the interview, but then the fine print actually mandates you're in a cubicle 4 days a week. Red flags also look like the expectation of constant availability. Where you're expected to be answering Slack messages at all hours, or a brutal commute with absolutely zero flexibility offered by the employer. Now we have to talk about paid time off because, man, this is where a lot of companies love to play games. A massive green flag is a company culture that actually uses its PTO. People take real vacations and they truly disconnect from work. The red flag you need to watch out for? Unlimited PTO policies. Listen, an unlimited policy means absolutely nothing if the internal culture makes you too terrified to actually use it. So what's a good benchmark to aim for? 20. In today's market, 20 days of defined, entirely guilt-free paid time off is really the baseline expectation. You want to look for 20 or more days, and you want to get that hard number in writing so you aren't left playing guessing games with the corporate culture down the line. Okay, before you agree to absolutely anything, you must read the actual physical offer letter incredibly carefully. Please do not just skim down to the salary number and blindly sign it. Verify these 6 critical elements first. Ensure your title is completely correct. Check that the salary matches your verbal agreement exactly. Review the entire benefits outline. Confirm your start date. Look at the reporting structure so you know exactly who your boss is going to be. And finally, scrutinize the fine print for any overly restrictive non-compete or non-solicitation clauses that could legally trap you if you decide to leave later on. Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, the final decision checklist. We've looked at all the micro details. Now let's zoom out to the big picture for making your move. When you finally receive that offer, whatever you do not accept it on the spot. Always, always ask for 3 to 7 days to review it. A healthy company is going to completely respect this request. If they panic and push back hard against giving you a few days to make a major life decision, it's usually because they're terrified you'll leverage it against a better offer. And honestly, that's their problem, not yours. So what do you do during those 3 to 7 days? Well, you have some tactical steps to take. First, obviously, review the actual offer document top to bottom. Second, do some backdoor referencing. Go find a former employee on LinkedIn and just ask them the real reason they left so you can get the unvarnished truth about the culture. Third, if you're lucky enough to be sitting on multiple offers, compare them side by side using that total package value we discussed earlier. And fourth, trust your gut. If something just feels genuinely off during this evaluation window, it usually is. Right before you pick up the pen to sign, run through this quick mental checklist. Does the total package actually meet your minimum needs? Will this role genuinely help you grow toward your 3 to 5 year goals? Are you truly excited about the team and the company? And finally, looking at everything we've covered today, are there definitively more green flags than red flags?
I really want to leave you with this thought today. A good job offer should feel like a step forward, absolutely not a compromise that you're going to end up regretting in 6 months. You deserve a great opportunity, but it is entirely up to you to evaluate it carefully, take your time, and ensure the reality actually matches the promise.
So look at that offer sitting on your desk right now, or the one you are currently aiming for, and ask yourself this one defining question. Will this role truly help you grow towards your 3 to 5 year goals? If the answer is yes, and those green flags clearly outnumber the red, well, you know exactly what to do. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Evaluate carefully, don't be afraid to negotiate for what you're worth, and go claim that amazing opportunity.